In the last class, we understood this uh, the block diagram and operation of different blocks of Cortex M3, and further the different registers R0 to R12, that is general purpose register, 13 stack pointer, and what is stack memory. We understood what is a link register, why it is required, and the program counter. And more specifically, these three registers stores the address mainly. Now, and different types of special registers like XPSR. X stands for different values. That is, in the program status register, you have come across with three different types of program status register. That is APSR, that is application program status register. Then IPSR, IMSR, like interrupt mask program status register, right? So um, again, different types of interrupt mask register, that is prime mask, fault mask, and base prime, and one more was control register. We also undergone the detailed explanation and their functions in our previous class. Quickly, we'll move on to the next concept, that is operation mode. I think in one of the class I also told about the memory. So this is where in Cortex M3 processor, some area of your RAM is fixed. It is from 0x00000000 from this address to 1FF. In the memory map, this address, starting address to 1FFFFFF, that is, area is fixed for storing the code. It is nothing but a user whatever the program that has been written. So this is the area where it is going to sit. And further, this SRAM, that is from this particular address to this address, this is reserved for SRAM. Similarly, you can see the different blocks that has been reserved from the different address slots. Again, in a system level which consisting of, this is very important part, where this consisting of a reserved memory area for nested vector interrupt control and memory protection unit. MPU stands for memory protection unit, and debug components. We will be keep on discussing in the class that if there is an exception handling, then there will be a separate program to handle that particular exception. Now, that particular program which we try to execute for when exception is occurred, then that particular program will be stored in this area called system level. Whatever we write the program, that is user level program, and that is going to be stored in your RAM area, and that particular program is fetched from the RAM and it get executed. That is where the code area is given. Now, if a system want to take the control for any interrupt operations or any exception handling, then there will be predefined program in a M3 processor, and that area we call it as a system level. Okay, so that's where it is called as private peripherals, including built-in built-in interrupt controller. We talk about what is NYSE in detailed in forthcoming classes. Now, other day we were talking about a different interrupt mask registers. That is pre-mask, fault mask and base pre registers. If I want to access these registers to read or to set the value for that particular register, we have a predefined device driver instructions, and that is what we have x equal to underscore get underscore base pri. It's a function. I call this function so that I can able to read the value of that particular base pri region. It's a primarily a register which is used to have an operation of interrupt, and that value is going to stored in your x value, right? Now if I want to set a new value to the value to the this particular register, then I use underscore set underscore base pri. I'll pass the data, what value that I want to feed to that particular register. So this is where these are nothing but a functions that I will be calling, predefined functions, and uh, the particular instructions are going to be executed. The same thing for fault mask register and pre-mask to get the value from the these different interrupt registers. Now, coming to the important aspects of Cortex M3, that is operation mode. As I keep on telling you that the processor will operate, CM3 processor will operate in two modes and two privileged levels. One is handler mode and thread mode. What do you mean by thread mode? Thread mode is nothing but a user defined uh, see this is thread mode. Thread mode is nothing but you are assumed to be a part of a C program. The one small C program, we will call it as a process, and uh, sorry, I today I forgot to bring my board. From next class I'll be using the board. Just adjust yourself for this particular class. Now this is what we call as a different process. Now each process, which is nothing but a C programming, each process will going to be having a different threads, and we call it as a thread level execution. What do you mean by this thread? Threads are simply uh, I can call a simple a for loop or a small function that might be present in your process. So a C programming consisting of a different for loops, or a C program may contain different subroutines or functions. Now the process can execute will be executing the different threads, which is nothing but the process will be in busy in executing the different functions
Excuse me, sir.
yeah.
Sir, Abhishek is waiting to join, sir. He want to allow you.
Okay, I should come back from the screen. Okay, wait. Okay, now Cortex M3 supports two modes. Which is that mode? One is handler mode and another one is thread mode. Thread mode, you just imagine that a simple C programming as of now. Handler mode, the programs which are already present in your system, okay, to handle the exception. Okay, then what is thread mode? Thread mode, which is nothing but your main program that is written by the user for performing a particular application. Now, and to switch between thread mode to handler mode, we have a one more register called control bit register that we discussed in your regular class. Now what is this control register? Control register will control the mode of operation of your CM3 processor. When control, so it is a 2-bit of register, simple to state. So control of 0 is 1 bit, and another bit is control of 0. see, this is a control register, so it is of 2 bit, so this we call it as control bit register. Now if this bit is 0, then if control bit this is control bit 0 memory location and control bit 1 memory location. If control bit 0 is equal to 0, this value is 0, then I say that it is in thread mode. And if control bit of 1 is 0, then we say that it is going for handler mode. Now again here there are two levels. One is privileged execution mode and another one is user execution mode. Now we don't be confused. Two modes are operation. Two modes are nothing but thread mode and handler mode. Two levels of execution is nothing but the privileged level and unprivileged level, we call it as. Unprivileged level is nothing but user programming. So control bit register 0 is equal to 1. This is where our normal C programming will be executed. So normal C program. I wrote a, say for example, I wrote a program to read the temperature sensor. Assume that a Cortex M3 processor is executing a C programming. The job of that is to read the external temperature. Okay, then now what you mean by thread mode under privileged mode? Thread mode under privileged level. Okay, now this is also C programming. This is also C programming. I will be written for executing the privileged C programming. Privileged C programming which is having a higher priority job. What do you mean by that? Okay, let me explain with a simple example. I say that I will be writing if temperature reaches to 40 degrees centigrade. Say for example, if our temperature rises to 40 degree temperature, uh, uh, a particular AC should turn on. AC should or air condition should turn on. If the temperature goes to around minus value, minus 20 or minus 5 or less than 0, now I say that a heater should turn on. Now uh, now this is a normal execution. The moment it reaches here, I ask my thread mode. This is also a C programming, but a priority is assigned more. It has to, the processor has to execute the another program here, which is a sequential. You know that one time a processor will be busy in executing only one C programming. Now there already a programming is existed, but I'm asking, based on this condition, go and execute another program, which is to turn on or the AC or to turn on the heater based on the condition. Now it is also a thread mode, but which is having a privileged, which means it must execute that particular programming, right? So that we call it as a the privileged mode. Then what is handler mode? So which means, so if this is, that is control bit 0 will be there. The moment it starts executing the privileged mode, the control bit 0 will be overwritten by 1. So which indicates that there is some operation is taking place. Processor is doing a more priority job as compared to user level, hence control bit of 0 will be this will be 1 by default. This will be by default by it will be 1. So later on it will change its to 0. 0 indicates now control is given to privileged mode. Now assume that there is once again a fault that may occur in your hardware, and in such cases the system level program that is present in system level area, that particular code has to execute. This is nowhere related to your user program. These two are related to little bit of user program, but this is nowhere related to handler mode, nowhere related to, because I am not a person who executing. See, when you insert a pen drive or a particular printer to your device, you literally don't have a you will be not writing the program for that. Already there is a program that is present in your system. That particular program has to execute, and I will call that as a handler mode. That's it. So immediately the moment I connect it to my PC to printer, then it go to that particular area. It will fetch the related device drivers. What do you mean by device drivers? It is again a nothing but a C programming. It has to drive some device. The device may be USB, the device may be printer, the device may be XYZ device, device. So it has to drive it, it has to execute. Now straightforward the control will move to the now the processor has to execute that particular program, and it should inform to other program, don't disturb me, don't give me any other program to execute. So what it does, so it go to control bit of 1, and it makes it 0. Once this is 0, irrespective of the value of control bit of 0 is 0 or 1, it will be executing handler mode itself. So this is how the operation occurs in the processor. When the processor is running in a thread mode, it can be either, it can, if it is in thread mode, it can be in a privileged mode or user level. But handler mode, if I want to execute the handler mode of program, which is nothing but a kind of device drivers program, then it has to be privileged level itself. What do you mean by privileged? We call some like these people are VIP people who are privileged people who have a more option, right? So that's where the privileged mode will be having a higher priority, and those program will be taken at a top priority, and those particular program will be executed first. So that's the meaning of privileged level. I hope you understood this particular topic. So the same thing I have explained here, the same thing. So in the user level, which is nothing but a thread mode, to access the control space. What do you mean by control space? System control space. System control space where a part of a memory region, configuration register and debug components is blocked, where a sum of the which is non prohibited area for a user level, right? So there it cannot go and execute one thing in user level access. And instructions that access special registers, again except APSR. I told you APSR is nothing but application peripheral application program status register, where we take care about all the flags, zero flag, carry flag, overflow flag, whether it is a negative flag or not. All these kinds of flags status are going to be understood in APSR form register. Now except this register, none of the other registers are able to access when the instruction are when we are using the user level. In the user level, at the maximum I can access APSR register, but not any other special registers. What happens if a program knowingly or unknowingly it try to access the other type of register? Then there occurs a exception called fault exception. So this fault exception will going to be executed, and it move from user level to what, privileged level, and it is handler mode. It start executing the fault exception. So that is somewhere else you may get the message you are trying to access improper memory as such. Okay. Now, this is a timing diagram which talks about the operation mode of your CM3 processor uh, when actually switching takes place from user level to privilege user thread to privileged thread and privileged handler. So when a processor is started, so yes, it has to boot from the memory. Already a program will be written, so that is where the first job has to be done. Privileged thread anta kariತೀವಿ, we call it as a privileged thread. It start executing. Then if I want to move for to execute a user level program, then what I need to do, the control bit of, see here, control register 0 and control register 1, right? Control register 0 will be there and control register 1 will be there. Now what we do, I make this to 1, right? I make this to 1. So now a processor understood that I am going to user level. Now it execute the user thread. It will be executing. Assume that there occurs a fault or non-maskable interrupt, interrupt which cannot be masked, if which is nothing but a highest priority interrupt. So if that occurs, then it will go to exception handler directly without changing anything, directly, because this is a higher priority. Because what it does that time, exception handler, control bit of 1, control bit of 1 will be equal to 0. So if control bit of 0, control bit of 1 is equal to 0, so this is having a higher priority. So irrespective of whatever job that is going to be performed in the user thread, it will be stopped there itself. It jump to exception handler. Once it executes and it done with the particular job that is having a higher priority job, and this is going to be done at which level, exception handler, which is nothing but a handler mode. Then it will switch back because it states to 1 now. Once it done to the job, uh, coming back to user mode, and it performs the regular job again. Once it done with the user program directly, actually I started from privileged thread. I cannot move back user mode to thread mode, privileged user thread to privileged thread directly. I cannot move from this to this position directly, because I need to give the information to the exception handler, and there you have an option to change your control register, change the control register value. So what should be the value now? It should be the control bit of 0 should go to 0. Then it is possible to execute in the, then it comes to privileged thread. So this is what we have taught, right? If I want to go for privileged thread, from here to go here and change the value, and so that it will be execute in a thread mode or a privileged thread. So control bit register will go to 0 here, and reprogram your control register so that it comes back to privilege. The same thing I have explained with respect to the same statements, how the software is going to be executed. So what is software? It's a set of C programming, that's it. So ultimately, keep one thing in your mind, whatever the processor has to execute, the processor will be executing the instructions. These instructions are the hex values or ones and zero value of high level languages like C, C++, or any object oriented programming. But ultimately, when it comes to the processor, it will be in the form of instruction set, and ultimately the you will be having a set of programs to be executed by the processor. in this connection, you should think that how a program is going to be executed by the processor. So this is one such operation. And another timing diagram, while switching operation is performed, which is nothing but processor mode is getting changed from what? From processor mode is changing from user mode to handler mode. In such cases, we have a thread mode, which is nothing but initially a privileged level, and another one we have a handler mode, which is also a privileged level, and thread mode, once again a privileged level. Now this is a switching process between a thread mode, which is in a privileged state, and moving to handler mode, which is also a privileged state. The state is privileged, the mode is moving from thread mode execution to handler mode execution. Now they are executing a main programming. If a program, now there occurs a higher priority of interrupt. Okay, let always you should think that there occurs a NMI, non-maskable interrupt, then it will move to main programming to handler mode. So this move to this mode. But during this process, how interrupt is going to be handled? So I need to save this address, because after executing a program that is present in the handler mode, I should come back. So I need to save this. What operation we call it as? It is called a stacking operation. We will push the data onto the stack, and we'll store the address of a next point location, and store the return address in a LR. All these operation has to be performed, and this operation we call it as a stack operation or stacking. And service the interrupt. There is a request by the processor stating that there is a request by the one of the process, and that particular process has to be processed in the handler mode. Now that we call it as a interrupt service routine. So interrupt is getting served, the non-maskable interrupt has been occurred, so that particular interrupt has to be served. So in this case, it will move to interrupt service routine. Interrupt is executed in this state, then it should come back to once again thread mode. During that, it should pop the data from the stack memory, and then that we call it as a unstacking operation. Then once again start. It will return back to the main program. This portion is again nothing but your main program, where the return address was stored in LR register or link register or R14 register. Then that particular address is copied back to your program counter, and normal execution flow takes place. This is a brief explanation of how a interrupt is getting served when switching operation of a processor occurs. Okay, now which are the non-maskable interrupts, or which are the exception that is going to be handled? I'll just show you one uh, table. So that's going to be end of this topic. So this is the exception types. Another day I told you there are set of exceptions that are written. A program is written in a memory where user don't have any option to enter into that particular memory area. These are the exceptions. So exception may be a reset. Reset will be having a highest priority -3. They start with -3, -2, and -1. These are all called as an exception number. So it is just like a unique number will be given for each exceptions. The job of if exception number 1 is getting executed, then it is nothing but a reset program, which is nothing but ask your program counter to start reinitiate the program, which means that when I press the reset button of your computer, or when I press the cancel button, anytime anyways it should start with the first line of a program itself. Say for example, right now I am teaching you. Now if my computer gets stuck or I cannot perform any other job, what I do, I simply say Control Alt Delete, and all task will going to be stop its executions. Then, to perform this operation, and there must be a program written in somewhere else in your memory, and that part we call it as a reset. Now program counter will be having some address, user mode address, and that will be executing some xyz code. And suddenly what it does, when I say that reset, it will come back to 0000 address location. It fetches that particular instruction and it executes. Similarly, exception number 2 is non-maskable interrupt, which is uh, which is going to be defined by the who will write this program. This is developer. The Cortex M3 processor developer will write what should be the non-maskable interrupter, and that particular program will be present in one of the system level memory. Hard fault is a third exception, which is having a next priority, which means hard fault having a highest priority but less than the reset and the NMI. That is what the meaning. While executing hard fault, processor gets the exception number 2. Hard fault execution will withheld and it start executing a NMI. When processor start executing NMI hardware, if it gets exception number 1, now NMI stops there itself, it will move to executing the reset operation. This is how the processor executes. Okay. Similarly, you just go through a different exception type, memory management, and the priority is settable. It is depends upon the programmer, whichever the priority based on your uh, programming, you can set the priority high or low. So these are the different levels of uh, functions and exception type. Just go through this. This one, it is easily understood by taking the previous explanation. You can go through these functions. If any doubts are there, and I'll just explain in the next class and we'll move further. Okay. I'll just tell you this important about this vector table. You see, as I told you, there will be a particular program will be written, right? Now particular program will be written for a reset, but program counter should get that particular address where it is stored. Until and unless it fetches the address of this, until and unless if it don't get the address of reset or address of NMI or address of hard fault, because each one of these exception type will be having a built-in programs. Now built-in programs are at where? System level memory. So system level memory means it has or it must have some address. Now if a processor want to execute that, program counter के आ address बरलार्दने it will not execute. Now what I need to do, if I want to execute NMI, I should provide the NMI instructions, NMI program address na ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. So where the address is going to be stored? All these address are going to be stored in one location, and that is what we call it as a vector table. Now another way we also call it as interrupt vector table, because these are all the interrupt for my system, and these interrupt address must be stored in some locations, and that particular table we call that locations as a table, because that particular table contains the address of interrupts that is supposed to be executed. Now NMI is one higher priority interrupt. Now if I want to execute this NMI, program counter should get its address, and that particular address is stored in your vector table. That's it. So these are the exception type, exception 0. What is exception 0? It is nothing but reset. Where is the address location? You just see this. This is the address 0x00. Now NMI, what is exception number 1? 1 is nothing but NMI. Where it is going to be executed? These are the, sorry, see, exception 0 is not there. Exception number 1. Exception number 1 is for reset. This address is 0x04. Second is NMI, and this address is this. So within memory, system memory, these are the address that is going to be defined. So this particular address will go and sit in my program counter. Now processor will come to know that the address that is showing in program counter, that's equivalent instruction I should execute. The program starts the processor start executing the equivalent instruction that is present in a corresponding address. That's it. So that is what the meaning of vector table. Usually it stores these are all interrupts. So hence these, that is address that is going to be stored that particular table, we call it as an interrupt vector table. Okay, so that's what vector tables. So this ends your first chapter. So these are all once again a stack operation, how it has been performed, which we already discussed in our class, and go through this once again. That's it. Okay. Now in the next class, we'll start with a new chapter, instruction.